Okay, hi guys. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Charlene, and today I want to do a little review of the movie A Man Called Otto with Tom Hanks. And I really enjoyed. Hold on, my lips is dry. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so I want to talk about the movie A Man Called Otto. And I thought it was such a cute movie. I watched it um, about a couple days ago, and I just wanted to review this movie because I just felt like it was so cute. And I had some thoughts about it, and I just wanted to get it off my chest. So, where did I start? I want to start with just like the things that stood out to me about this movie. So, um, obviously Tom Hanks is playing like this older man. He's like, I'm assuming like the baby boomers, the greatest the greatest generation ever, and the jury is still out about that. As a pediatric millennial myself, I feel like our generation is the greatest, but that's just me though. But he's this older man, and he's having to deal with like the world changing around him, and having to deal with the fact that his wife is gone, and the world just changing, right? And people just moving on, like his friends are moving on to the other side, and he's just trying to like cope with all of that. So the things that stood out to me was, I got a theory. If you haven't seen this movie, like pause this video and watch it, or if you don't mind spoilers, then let's just talk about it. So I got a theory. One of my theories is it gets kind of morbid. Like, he is YouTube, so you can't really say it, but he tries to get to the other side, if you know what I mean. Like, he really tries to get to the other side to be with his wife, who has went to the other side. um and that's not funny, but like, he tries to get to the other side, if you know what I mean.
Okay, get in.
Right. And I got a theory that, like, every time he tried to do it, right, something would happen. Like, the neighbors would bother him, or like he would have a flashback, and like he couldn't go through with it. And I got a theory. I feel like, personally, I feel like the neighbors are made up. Like, this is just my theory. I feel like the neighbors are made up in his mind, because he really couldn't do it. Like, he really couldn't commit to actually doing the act. That's just one of my theories. And then I feel like a thing that stood out to me about the movie, or what like the movie was trying to like get across, was like how the older generation are coping with a new world, and the world changing around them, and like gentrification, and like, a part in the movie he was talking about how um, there there used to be renter homeowners associations, and now they don't have that anymore. And something that like corporations and stuff just taking over, people's homes and stuff like that, and the shady things that they do to like get older people out of their homes, or just even young people, period, just taking advantage of people, vulnerable people, and people needing that stability, like all people needing that stability of homes, and all they care about is money, and flipping housing just to make more and more money. I watched like a little documentary about that on YouTube, about how like this attorney in the Northeast, for New York and Virginia, and he was just basically like helping people. Oh, no, it was on YouTube. It was on Netflix, and it was American Greed. I think it was the show American Greed. If I'll put the episode in here, if I could find it, but I think it's Netflix, and it's an episode on American Greed, and the man was basically saying like the Kushner family was basically doing what the company in the movie, A Man Called Otto, was doing, basically like just taking advantage of vulnerable people and like kicking them out their homes, and that's just so fucked up. But welcome to America. And then yeah, so like the way like the older generation is dealing with the changing world and stuff like that. And I feel like you can go even broader than just the geriatric community dealing with the changing world. I feel like it also kind of touched on a little bit in there about like you can go broader and say men in general dealing with a changing world. You know what I'm saying? Like not only like how older people feel like, well, where do I fit in this world, and what role do I play? Because in reality, like our community and our society as American society does not value older people. Like it doesn't value older people, and that's something I loved about the movie was that I loved how, and I noticed how culture, right? Like the neighbors were Hispanic, and in their culture, they take care of their older people. Like a lot of minority groups, they take care of their older people. Even black people, like we take care of our older people a lot of the time. But in this society, in American culture, like they don't do that. Like we don't do that. It's like, if you can't produce, you can't work, you can't do anything, like you're kind of thrown away and tossed away a lot. Like he was so upset that he got retired, and he like called them out at his retirement party at work and was like, you basically forced me to like retire. He basically forced me, like I didn't make this decision. Like, and that was just so sad, but like so funny at the same time. But it was so sad because it's like it speaks to a broader system of that, like our culture in America just does not have a place for the older community. You know what I'm saying? And how he was just trying to keep himself busy by like going into the going like waking up every day and doing his rounds, you know what I'm saying, and like staying on top of people and making sure everybody was doing what they were supposed to do, even though he wasn't a part of the homeowners association anymore in the community. And so I just found that very interesting, right? Like he's just keeping himself busy and keeping himself you know, a reason to wake up in the morning, right? So those little things like that, his rounds in the morning, is what makes me think like maybe the neighbors and like all the little moments that they would interrupt him trying to like go on to the other side. I feel like that makes me feel like they might have been made up. You know what I'm saying? Like the neighbors probably moving in that day, that probably didn't even happen. I don't know, but yeah, but like outside of just the geriatric, the geriatric community trying to adjust into society, or pointing out how our society deals with, you know what I'm saying, the older community. I feel like also in this changing world, like you could speak to how men are trying to adjust and associate in this changing world, because people have rights in this country and in this society that a lot of people didn't have rights even 50 years ago. A lot of people, a huge part of the population, didn't have rights 100 years ago, 200 years ago. Another part of the population didn't have rights 250 plus years ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like every stage, 50, 100 years or so, it's a whole group of people, a whole demographic of people that just did not have basic human rights, like literal basic human rights, and in this society. And I feel like there's the geriatric community, but like I also love that there were little points in there, him as a man, it was kind of like a part that stuck out to me, was that made me think about it, was believing, like when he was talking to Marisol and he was like, there is nothing after her, there was nothing before her, there was nothing in my life before her, and there's nothing after her. And at first glance, like you could take that as like, oh, that's so sweet, like he loves his wife so much, and he wants like his he feels so complete with her, and that's just so beautiful and that's so sweet. But at the same time, like if you really sit there and think about it, I was thinking about it, the overthinker in me was like, damn, like I feel like that's what's happening right now with like a lot of men, right? Like women have just now embraced their newfound freedom, right? Their newfound freedom, as in like the wage gaps are closing. Women are just now, with the social media, women are just now realizing like there's a life outside of the societal goal of just being married with children. And I feel like women aren't the only ones that bought into that dream. Like with Otto's story, he felt like his life was complete when he met his wife, and he was like, she was the color. He was like, my life was very black and white, and she was the color in my life. You know what I mean? It was almost like he said, like there was no life before her, there's no life after her, and it was like she was his whole world. And then like wanting to have kids with her was like an idea that they wanted to have. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, like it just feels like, I feel like women aren't the only ones that bought into that same dream, if that makes sense. Like a lot of men nowadays, the world is changing and they don't know where they fit in that, with so many people wanting to have goals outside of them. Like women wanting to have goals outside of being partnered with them and wanting to have their children. It's like they don't know, well, where do I fit in this new society? Like, what do you mean you want to travel? What do you mean you just want to like have plants? And you just, that's what you want to do. You want to garden and like fucking pluck and play with plants and shit. What do you mean? Like you just want pets and you just want dogs and cats and shit. Like what the fuck is wrong with you? Like where do I fit in that? It's like you gotta find other ways, like other purpose. You gotta find another meaning to wake up in the morning. And I feel like that's what men are dealing with right now as well. But I feel like that's what men are dealing with as well, but they just don't know how to like verbalize that. This is not gonna work. Anyway, I feel like men, yeah. I feel like men are dealing with that as well. They just don't know how to verbalize that. Like, where do I fit in? Because I feel like women aren't the only ones that bought into the idea of, well, who am I as a person, not just as a woman, but who am I as a person without the husband and the kids and the dog and the white picket fence? Like, who am I outside of that? And I feel like men are going through that crisis too. Like, where do I fit in this world without the wife to define my stability and my manhood? And who am I without the children to define my stability and my manhood? Like, how do I define my manhood? How do I define myself as just a person, right? So I feel like people are going through that. But then that just made me like think about that, like, you know, people in general just trying to figure out like who are they outside of these things. And then it brings me to Marisol, right? Like when he went to go babysit the kids, and you know she on her third kid or whatever, but he realized like she like he was telling her when she was learning how to drive in a car, like you learned a whole new language, you came from a different country, you know, you found a great husband, you made a great life, you hold the family together, and you on your third kid, like you birthed children, girl, like you got this, like you know how to drive, you can do this. And then he found out that like she also went to university. She went to university and graduated, like not just any university, like one of like, you know, them top schools, girl, like University of California. So I love that moment also, like where he realized like, oh, like so she really chose a family, like she really chose, you know, a husband and kids, you know what I'm saying? It's not like she doesn't have anything else, you know, going for herself. Like this is a life that she wanted and chose. Like it's like you could just tell like she made a conscientious decision to want to be, you know, a wife and a mother, and it wasn't just something as in like, oh, she bought into it, you know what I'm saying? Or not that anything's wrong with that, but it's just like, you know, you could tell like it didn't define her, if that makes sense. Like she was her character was a full, well-rounded person, that also cared, like I said. And also I feel like I played into her heritage, where it just reminded me of like a time, I'm aging myself now, but it reminded me of a time like before cell phones, when people actually knew their neighbors. Like, I love that about the movie as well. Like, it, like I said, in general, about everybody um, trying to cope with this new world. And it's like, it reminds you of a time where people used to know their neighbors. Like, you don't have to actually be blood relatives to like care for each other. You don't have to actually be blood relatives to check on each other. You know what I'm saying? Check on your elderly neighbors, check on your young neighbors, you know what I'm saying? And really build a community. Like, he really became like abuelo, like, and I really love that. Like, he really became grandpa with them. So that was cute. I love Marisol character. Like, she was so funny, she was so sweet, she was so warm. I love the flashbacks in the movie, like, and I love that they didn't show the wife getting old. Like, they showed like little clips, like little moments, like her hand and stuff. Obviously, she was an old woman, but like, I love that they showed, like, it just made the flashbacks like sweeter, and I don't know, just more like, really drove the point home of his like grief, you know what I'm saying? And his point of him saying that like his world started, you know what I'm saying, and ended with her, you know what I'm saying? Which, you know, if we're being serious, that might not be the most healthy thing. But it was good that in the movie it showed him living also until the moment where it was time for him to go. And I also love that he accepted that, you know, when it was his time to come, then his time will come, and he actually prepared himself for that, and prepared everybody for that. I love that. It was a great movie to deal with like death. Like I said, it just touched on so many things. Touched on just getting back to like actually caring for each other beyond family, and actually having real community with each other, and not everything being just business. Like I said, a deeper question of like how everyone is dealing with the changing world, and like where we fit in with each other and ourselves, making new purposes for ourselves, no matter if you're man, woman, or older or younger. Dealing with death, how to deal with death, accept death and grief. Like I said, I love the flashbacks with him and his wife. I love the moment with him, and some other moments that I really love. Like, I don't want to end it on like just huge think pieces and like seriousness, right? Moments that I loved and that were funny was like him going back and forth with the girl with the dog, and he was calling her all kind of crazy stuff with the dog. Him cussing people out, that was funny. Like I said, Marisol, she was a whole key. I love the beautiful moment with him and Malcolm. That was really nice, and you could tell that he was a complete asshole in the part where you know, Malcolm said that his wife was the one that touched him, and really start respecting him and calling him by his name, and how he wanted to be addressed. That was so beautiful. And the way he like opened his home up to Malcolm and let him come stay and stuff like that. Like, it was a really cute, sweet movie. Like, I really loved that. And let me see what else. And I think that's pretty much it. Like, oh, that's another thing I want to say. I don't want it to be negative, but like I said, I love the flashbacks. Like, I really cried on the flashbacks. I really did. But I just feel like it was Hollywood in a way that a lot of men don't really stay with their wives, for real. Like, let's be real. Can we be honest about that? Like I said, this movie made me really critically think about some things. Like, now that I'm older, like, if I was younger and I watched this movie, I would just be so like Notebook. How everybody, like, when we was younger, I don't know how old people are watching this, but like the younger self watching Notebook, and how beautiful and fairy tale that was. I should watch Notebook and like see how my older mind processes Notebook, because that's a really great comparison. But anyway, how my younger mind processed Notebook, and really thinking like, oh, a man is gonna love on you, but then knowing reality, like growing up and knowing reality and knowing that studies really show that most, not all, but most men leave their older wives. And it ain't even leaving their older wives for younger women. It's just, again, society, right? The way society is set up, it is not set up for men to be caregivers. It's not encouraged for men to be caregivers. Like, it's very rare to have a notebook type of relationship that when she gets dementia and can't remember her name, her husband, or her kids, that he's gonna show up every day and read to her his love story. It's very rare that, and this is in real life, like it's very rare that a husband like Otto is gonna stay with his wife after she so young, like she was young when she became paralyzed, and he stays with her all the way up until they're old and she dies, and he's still so deeply in love, so deeply, engulfed, like in her, like he said, the color that she brought to his life, even after her being paralyzed. Like, a lot of men can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Unless something's in it for them, unless he like spending up her money, unless I don't know, like unless he's getting some type of benefit out of it. Like, a lot of men just aren't going to do that. Like, the benefit has to be like well worth the work that he's doing every day with this woman being in a wheelchair. Like, let's be real. Not all men. I'm not saying all men, but most men are not gonna, they don't stay. And that's just statistics. I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying statistics tell us, like I said, I wish I watched this movie with my younger eyes, because it is like a notebook situation where you're so like, oh, this is so beautiful and that's so sweet and he loves her so much. But then when you realize that the reason why a lot of older women that you see working at diners late at night or early in the morning is not because they were ugly hags and they was ugly in their younger years and no man wanted them and wanted to take care of them. Is really because they got older and their husband dumped them for either a younger woman and traded her in for another one, a new one, or she got sick or whatever, and now he just don't want her no more. Like, he can't take care of her. He don't want to take care of her, and she just on her own. Or you know what I'm saying? Or the husband died and all his benefits went along with him, and he didn't leave her any financial standing, and now she gotta work. You know what I'm saying? In her very, very old age, all because he didn't handle the finances right and he died, and all the benefits of his finances died with her. So now she an old woman and she gotta go back to work after she was a stay-at-home wife for like 20-something years. Like, that's how a lot of those women, not all, but that's how a lot of them end up as like old waitresses. And that's so crazy because, but again, that's just statistics. Y'all look it up, but please come back and prove me wrong if I'm wrong. But yeah, but not trying to be morbid, but it's just like, it was a beautiful story, it really was, but it made me realize again with my older eyes the Hollywood in it, and the fact that it's not a common story with men and women, especially in old age like that. It's beautiful, and if you get something like that, or if you know somebody like that, it's so gorgeous. Hold on to it. It's a beautiful story. That's amazing. Good for them. You know what I'm saying? Good for you. But like, the reality is that's not common. So that was a little Hollywood moment that stood out to me in the story. But other than that, I definitely give this movie like for sure 8. For sure 8. Solid 8 out of 10. Solid 8 out of 10. And but that's only because my theory is I don't really believe every single time he was trying to like, go to the other side that somebody had to interrupt him. So I feel like that's my little conspiracy theory. And then 2, it was very Hollywood and very notebook of the story to make it seem like most men respond like this to their wives being handicapped for the rest of their lives. And most men respond like this to their wife dying, because they don't. So that's about it. But y'all let me know what y'all think. If y'all seen this movie before, you know, if y'all gonna watch this movie, y'all want to watch this movie, let me know what y'all think. Let me know what other type of movies or videos I should review. I kind of want to do like maybe like a little bit of vlogs on this channel. I'm not sure. I mean, I got some vlogs up, but you know, I don't really know about any ideas right now for vlogs. Cause vlogs be costing money. People be wanting to watch you spend money, and I'm be real with y'all, I ain't got no money like that. I might be doing like some free stuff. Maybe, you know, we go to the park and go look at some ducks or some shit or whatever. But other than that, I don't know. I want this to be like a fun channel. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it to be just reactions, and I don't want it to be only reactions because I don't want to be doing like what's trendy in the moment. Like, I know I did Bridgerton. Some of you may or may not have come back for that. This might be your first time watching me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you to everybody that got this far in the video. But just some ideas of like what to post and things like that. Like I said, I still don't know exactly all of what I want to do with this channel. I might do some reactions here and there, do some vlogs here and there, maybe some get ready with me's here and there. I live a pretty much simple life, but I mean, I have goals, so maybe, you know, y'all can grow with me, and I can explore those goals. We can do some stuff, you know what I mean? I have other hobbies and interests that I like to do other than just watching TV and stuff, but you know, just some ideas, throw some things up against the wall, see what sticks. So you made it this far. Thank you so much for watching my channel. I probably, you know, upload some more videos of some things. I'm not sure what yet. But y'all let me know, you know, your honest opinion, and I'll see you guys in the next one.